For joining us. My name's Dr. Dan Craig, and we're very lucky here today to be joined by Shane Brookes.
How you
Shane,
doing, mate?
how are you, mate?
Good, brother. Good.
That's good. Shane's doing something remarkable at the moment. He's putting himself out there in the public space, which takes a lot of guts to do. And the topic of him putting himself out is talking about mental health. Shane, what are you doing at the moment? Can you just give me a background? Yep.
What I've done is I've created something called the Bond-Aid Project. So basically what it is, I'm trying to get the mental health awareness out of the house. So it's all well and good to have all the support on the internet and the lifelines and everything. But knowing there's all that support and then walking out into the real world, you're not feeling it, you don't know where it is, you don't know who to ask, you get a little lost in it all. So simple idea was, if help's everywhere, how about we see it, we make mental illness actually visible. It's a lot easier to ask for help if it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But here's the basic idea behind it.
Is this project that you're doing at the moment, are you finding this a way for yourself to deal with mental health?
Yes. So I was pretty much told that I can no longer work. I've always worked my whole life, and I'm not doing anything. Because I do have mental illnesses and my mind is always so constantly busy, I have to find things to keep myself busy. So being told I couldn't work, being told I was a liability at the workplace because of my mental health issues, I needed for myself more than anything to find a way to keep getting excuses to get up in the morning. You can't give up. One of the worst sayings I hate in life is you only live once.
Yeah.
That's crap. You die once. You live every day. You've got to get up with that attitude and live that day.
Yeah.
I find if I can operate at any part of my best while I'm at my lowest. So I have good days and bad days. Some days I don't move. I don't get out of bed. I don't shower. I don't eat. I don't do nothing. Those are the days that I generally try and get up and do something. I'll make a video those days, or I ring someone to help push the project. I do something that I just thought there was no possible chance I'll be able to do that day, and just prove yourself a little bit better every day. To answer your question, yes, this was something definitely I did for myself, but in the knowledge of there are so many other people out there like me that just don't know what to do or don't know who to ask for help, because it's very easy to see all that stuff on the internet and know where the help is, but that also relies a lot on the fact that you need to realise the self-awareness of having a problem. So battling alone sometimes, no one knows you like you. Nobody.
Yeah.
So everyone deals with little things different. Like my partner and some of my friends get a little frustrated with me sometimes because I have to do things my own way. And breaking that balance of how I do things can completely throw me off that task.
Yeah.
Because I'm bipolar, I just switch.
Yeah.
So I've always got a second person with me. I can either be my normal, generous, helping, loving self, or I can be quite an aggressive asshole. It depends on what I'm given that day as well.
Yeah.
So I find myself on a one-track mind, and having to explain that to others all the time is quite disheartening on me. For others who don't realise, because I said I'm well aware of my mental issues and have been for a long time. I was diagnosed young with ADHD and put on Ritalin.
How old were you when you were diagnosed with ADHD?
6. I was just in primary school. Yep.
Yeah.
I was put on Ritalin, Zoloft, and dexamphetamines. So I was also put through psychologists, and I had a lot of sit-down meetings to find out what was wrong with me. I was just so full of energy. I was the kid that didn't stop. I just wanted to be in and everything, but more so just to help. I just wanted to be involved and help people, and that hypertension energy is annoying.
Yeah.
And you get in people's nerves, and it's not till older that you realise that what you're like. I was also I have heavy doses of OCD, which on top of, so we realised that the ADHD diagnosis was almost, I'm going to say wrong, and I fall more into the categorism of autism.
Yeah. So what's OCD for the people that are watching?
obsessive compulsive disorder. I do just little random things. So as I said, I'm very set in my own way. So if I have a thing that I do every day, if something gets in the way of me doing that thing, I become erratic, aggressive. My whole brain pattern changes because it's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
That second person then takes over and goes, no, well, this isn't good enough. This is how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
It's like, it's simple as me now saying I want to get up and go make myself a sandwich, and someone as strong as you behind me and grabbing me going, no, you can't do that, sit down. That's the feeling. I also get this, I haven't spoken to this about many people, I get a feeling in my chest like getting hit with the defibrillator. It's like build up of energy and it shudders my shoulders and chest. I get this, people look at me funny, it's like just this massive build up of anger energy, and over time, instead of yelling or being aggressive, it's turned into like a jolt. Like my whole body shudders.
Yeah. When was it that you decided, like how long, was it 1 month, 1 year, 5 years? When did you decide to make coming public in a public arena, because it takes a lot of guts to do it. A lot of people are afraid to do it. When did you decide to make this a public awareness issue? How long ago was it?
Only this year. So
Yep.
I've always tried to keep my circle close. So all my friends have always known if you need someone to chat to, I'll come around your place at 1 o'clock in the morning and let you bash my ear if that's what you need. It's more for the fact that I've seen that mentality with people works. It's all well and good if you have mental illness. Some people need psychiatrists. Some people need to see the doctor. Some people need to know that it is an illness and it's just an irregular pattern of thought.
How common is it? How common is,
One in four.
Sorry?
1 in 4.
1 in 4 people suffer from...
1 in 4 people, some kind of mental illness.
Yeah.
If anything, mainly depression and anxiety are your main ones.
Yeah.
But anxiety is your key starter. So this is why you do see so much and hear so much on the radios, is mainly anxiety ads and stuff like that. Is anxiety leads to depression.
Yeah.
But most people I found that are dealing with, I can't go in public anymore, I'm getting the panic attacks, little tasks are now becoming overwhelming. That's when you need to get on top of it. Because when those tasks become overwhelming and you don't get to do them is when the depression kicks in.
Yeah.
And then you've got that heavy extra voice inside your head. So depression's more self-belittling.
Yeah.
You're very hard on yourself. It's all your fault. Why can't you do these steps to rectify these certain situations?
Yeah.
That's when you need to step out and either, as I said, the help is everywhere. There are people, whether you just ask a mate, he might know someone who knows someone who's been through this. His dad's been through it. His dad's brother's been through it. I can help you by helping him, by helping you, if we're all in it together, it just becomes so much easier. You will find the ones that need that extra help. If it comes to a mate, I'll hold a mate hand and walk him into the doctors.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes. That's what it took for me. I had to actually have someone make me the doctor's appointment and walk me into the doctors.
Yeah.
I've been to 12 to 14 different surgeries, different doctor places. I've walked in and walked out because I tried to do it by myself.
Yeah.
I've not kept appointments. It's the anxiety and then the depression kicks in, especially if you've got other mental illnesses on top, and especially if you're medicated for them. If you've got the anxiety and depression on top of those and they're untreated, it's doubly overwhelming again because you think you've gone back into whatever your original problem is. You don't think there's a second problem.
So it's okay to ask for help.
I beg of you to ask for help. It's okay not to be okay. We're all only human. Even those that don't suffer from mental illness have, I guarantee you, know someone that has. You've been through it. You know someone who's lost someone. You've lost someone yourself. And those people will be willing to help other people struggling through it because no one wants to feel what they're going through.
Yeah.
No, but that's the getting it out of the internet, face-to-face conversations and having it in public, it seems to be the hardest part of it. No one wants to talk about it. Who wants to get approached? What did you do last night, bro? I sat in the corner and cried and tied a noose. Sat holding that for 3 hours. No, that's not acceptable public If
Yep.
that's why you're not going to get that from the person struggling, you're going to get a smile and I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah. So
If we're all in it together and everyone's talking to everyone, and you can go to your mate, hey, old mate Tom doesn't seem all right. He doesn't seem to be opening up to me. How about you give it a shot?
yeah.
Or, he's going through this. Didn't old mate go through the same thing? How about we introduce Tom to Chris, and Chris might be able to help Tom? Maybe
It takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there, firstly, and ask for help if you are slightly depressed. And you said that you've just started doing it this year. Is this something that you would have considered doing 5 years ago, or you would have been too afraid to ask for help?
in the frame of mind, I've always being told you're not normal is the hardest thing. So you've never known anything but your own normal thought processes. I never knew I was abnormal from anyone else. I just assumed everyone thought like me.
Yeah.
So once adulthood, it's like, because of the I developed late, I was about, as you would know, I was about 4'2" till I was 17. I was tiny. I didn't really get what's considered adult brain probably till I was 23, 24. Like I really started to think about life, and I was just living day to day and being a young idiot, didn't think of the future, didn't embrace what other people thought and stuff like that. It wasn't until I really started, you look at other people around you, and once I became a parent myself, you look at other parents and what they go through and the mentality and mental health, how they deal with their situations and stuff like that, really made me realise just how much it does affect. And look, a bit of naivety on my part, I've lost a lot of friends to suicide. And even by that age, I was probably up to 6 at that point, by 22. And you don't kind of put two and two together of how it leads to that. Imagine being in a room full of 10 people you consider friends, but feeling alone.
Yeah.
And why is he funnier than me? Why is he better than I am? And you take that home with you all the time. If no one else picks up on your behaviour, that also, why aren't they noticing that I'm not me? Why is no one,
Yeah.
That's your head beating yourself up, and that's when you do need the help.
Yeah.
A lot of things I tell close friends is, when you find yourself having your own space, when you've got a little place in your house that you come home, you've got to get there quickly to calm yourself down, that's when you need help.
Yeah.
That's when that's the self-awareness. Especially if you are around your friends and your brain's telling you to get out of that situation, go home, you feel uncomfortable, that's the self-awareness side. You either need to talk to a friend and go, look, I just don't feel myself lately, I'm getting these feelings. I do feel, maybe you feel embarrassed about it, so start with one friend and they might go, look, I don't know, I haven't dealt with this, the such and such has, or maybe we'll look into it, and even if you sit down with that friend and ring Beyond Blue or something, and there are people that can tell you and help you in your local area, tell you where to go on certain days and meetings.
So what are some resources you've used? So you've spoke to friends, you've been to doctors. Who else? You said Beyond Blue. What are the other resources people can use?
So on my page, Bondi Project, I actually have a list of all the suicide lines, and just in mainly your local area and local country ones.
Do they cost any money?
No. So all of your mainly, they're going to come under suicide awareness lines, but they're all 24 hour, they're all free to call, and they'll find your local area. Every local area has some kind of health facility that is not a doctor, whether it's just a little building in your main street that people just sit out the back and have a chat for an hour a week.
Like a community health centre.
They're in every city. So just finding them, looking your local, I don't know, Facebook will probably have them in your local area. They are out there. There are like-minded people that will, whatever you're going through, will be able to help you in some manner or just push you in the right direction.
Yeah. So since you've put yourself out there, you've been making these a lot of kind of home videos and home recordings, and you've, the reason why I contacted you is because you've been keeping it real in the videos. You've been authentic. You've been yourself. You've put yourself out there. You've demonstrated self-awareness. Since you've started this page called the Bond Aid Project, how many people have reached out to you? How many people have reached out to you for help, for support? To congratulate you. Have you been overwhelmed by the support, or do you think you would have gotten more support? What's the response been like from people in the online space?
All right, so my response has been excellent. I have a lot of people I've never even met reach out and give me personal stories. I'll give you 2 quick examples. I had a lady reach out that was actually cutting herself, and was to deal with it. She obviously knew she had something wrong with her, a mental illness, depression, anxiety, or something. But she was cutting herself and then going to the hospital, who were just patching her up and sending her home. I put that lady on the right track. She's now seeing a mental health psychiatrist. She understands that putting the pain elsewhere just moves the pain. We got her on the right track. Family members, she lives with her daughter and her sister, were not aware she was cutting herself.
Yeah.
They were reached out to, they were made aware she's now receiving the care she needs, and she was one of the ones that does need medication. So she's now on the right track.
I really admire, I just want to stop for a second, and I really admire the fact that, you're going through a lot of difficult things yourself personally, and I spoke to you the other day, we had a bit of a pre-call, and you mentioned you've got your own way to deal with things, but I really respect the fact that you're savvy and you're aware enough to know that even though you've got your own way that you deal with things, everyone's different, and there still are the correct channels for people to go down, like these hotlines, all these government support lines, and going through professionals. I really admire the fact that you've got that recognition, and you're not just, you're there to support people, and a lot of people have been contacting you for support to talk to, but at the same time, you have the self-awareness and the humility to recognize that you are not a qualified health professional. I'm not saying that you're unqualified to be a support person, but I really admire the fact that you've got that maturity to be humble enough to really, your purpose is truly authentic. I really admire it. So what's the other example of the other person that reached out to you?
So another fellow, he was the mate that's always there for his mates. So the call I got from him, another mate reached out to me and said, look, I've got this guy, I don't know, he's reached out to me and I don't know how to deal with this situation. He's literally in tears and I feel like he may take his life. So I said, give him my number. That person then reached out to me. I gave him my personal phone number to my friend. We gave it to him. This person then reached out to me. When I answered the call, I could barely understand him. He was just completely gone, crying. I could not understand the word he said. 15 minutes of just, I asked him to breathe, talk me through his personal situation. So after about 5 minutes of him talking me through what he was going through, I started giving him avenues. And if he didn't like one, I gave him another one, gave him multiple options of these are different ways you can go about it. There's a reason you're feeling like this. It's called an illness for a reason. What do we do when we're sick? We go to a doctor. Or we ask someone else we know is being sick, how did you deal with that? What medications do you take? It's the same as you getting the common cold. They are ways to beat it, whether it's time itself or doctor's methods. There's self-awareness is the biggest key. Whatever avenue you go down to, if you feel like you're not you, do something about it.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that. If you feel like, and explaining mental health to other people is always hard because it's some of the stuff that you feel just sounds so fictional. You try to explain it out loud. It sounds dumb to yourself saying it out loud. So to someone that's never felt that before, literally may sound like fiction.
Yeah.
So obviously when you do reach out to people and stuff like that, like-minded people to yourself, generally your closest friend or the person you feel you connect the best to is your safest and first option.
Yeah. Do you think that, and I actually don't know the answer, it's not a trick question, Some people have a saying, and they say that the harshest critic is usually the person closest to you. Do you feel that there's a risk if you ask someone that's close to you, like a brother or a dad that doesn't understand you? Do you think there's a chance that they can misjudge you? Do you think there's a chance they can just say, "Oh, just snap out of it"? Or do you think they're the ones that will unconditionally support you?
They're the ones you do need to open up to. But you are dead right. For those that don't understand it, it's especially if you're dealing with that person every day and it just becomes erratic, repetitive behavior. You see that person sitting in their bed all day and didn't take the shower, but you're at work all day. You don't see him doing the 10-hour day in his head, beating himself up and trying to get up. You just come home and see he hasn't moved and do the dishes, or that's so from the other person's perspective. It's a difficult game to play.
Yeah.
They're the people. Come with your information out. If you are going to bring in people and you think they may not understand, find some videos such as what we're doing. Do your research online. Look, this is a real thing. I'm asking for your help. Can you please make me an appointment with the doctor and come sit in it with me, and we can both get the same understanding? Or, I always recommend, I had someone sit in the doctors with me when I was diagnosed. The simple fact is, if I didn't understand something or if I got overly emotional, I had that second person I trusted to give me shorthand information.
Yeah.
Or tell the doctor, hang on, just give him a minute or something like that. I had that second person. It made me a whole lot calmer, and I was able to open up because I'd already opened up to that person. I was able to open up to the doctor, but that person was able to fill in things I missed because I was nervous, and, a doctor's still a stranger.
Yeah.
I do recommend having that second trusting person.
Yeah, I think it is very important to have people that you trust, but I think as well, sometimes the people closest to you, they might always assume you're the same as them. They might always, let's say they do go to work and they work a 10-hour day and you have been sitting at home, and they come home and they're a bit grumpy, you've been sitting around, and they just say, "Oh, just snap out of it." They may not fully understand you, and if that is the case, and there is someone that's really close to you, and they might be excessively harsh on you, or they might not be as supportive as you'd hoped. I think it's really important just to remember, perhaps don't resent them for it. Recognize that they are different to you, or they may be in a different state of mind. They might be in your position. They might have been in your position before, but that might have been 6 months ago or a year ago. It might have been on the weekend when they were hungover or something, and now they're back on the up during the week. I don't think you should be disheartened, and don't resent them. Perhaps, just try to consider explaining to them, and look for alternative help as well. There's always more than one person that you can approach. And it's lonely. I mean, life, I think if we've got at least one person in our lives that we can really trust and open up to, I think we're really lucky people, because there's a lot of people out there that have no support. And doing things like what me and you are doing right now, particularly with your Bond Aid project, that's BONDAID project on Facebook, is it gives even strangers reassurance that there actually is someone out there that cares about them. And I mean, I've been very selfish my entire life, and it's only really been particularly of recent where I've sorted out my own kind of life. I'm really happy and comfortable with my professional situation and my own. Now I really want to start giving back, and I never thought I'd say it, but I genuinely care about other people. And like yourself, the intention's authentic and the outcome is spectacular. There are people that are there to support you. There are people that care for you. There are resources and facility. I mean, it's a great country. Australia's so fantastic. The government, I mean, it's just such a great country. I mean, if you go to a third world country and you have mental health, it's probably laughed at. You probably won't survive. You'd probably be on the street. You'd have no government support. We live in a fantastic country with so many amazing resources. Use it. It's there to be used. It's there to be used. And not only have you got this government support, you really do have genuine people such as you, Shane, who are there to support people that are going through difficult times. or even going through good times. You know,
Yeah.
you're a sounding board, and I think that's why when I came across your video, I grew up with you. I hadn't spoke to you for years. You popped up. You're on a similar mission to what I'm doing. And to see how much it resonated with so many people that shared your videos and how much support you've got on your page, it really just gives me, faith and gives me hope in you know, people in the society, and it just really warms my heart that we can touch base. We haven't spoken for so many years. We're touching base. We kicked off where we left off, and I just feel really good about it. I think what you're doing is fantastic. There's so many other things you could be doing right now that are non-productive. I mean, you've almost been deemed liable in the workplace. You can't work. You could be out doing something really self-destructive or destructive to others. You haven't. You've turned it into a positive, and I'm really proud of you. And everyone that's been watching your videos, I can guarantee you is super proud of you. It takes guts to do what you're doing. Full respect. And I want to, you know, you're really inspiring me, mate. And it's a message, we want to send a message out there. Me and Shane collectively would love to send a message out there that anyone that needs support, mentorship, or you want to point in the right direction, we're here for you. Shane, Bond Aid Project on Facebook. Have you got any further comments, Shane?
No, you spot on, man. I love your work too. I love how you bring everyone in and just try to get the word out. And that's exactly it. When we leave our computers, we're still people that go out into the public area. We are out there. Every time you see someone making a page or a positive post or I'm here to help you, brother, those people are in the real world. Being able to see us is my goal. I want to be able to walk around, mate. If I could see them everywhere, and just knowing yourself that you can just ask that person, hey, mate, can I have 2 seconds of your time?
Yeah.
Do you know how to deal with this? Do you know how to do that? I don't understand what to do in the post office, and it's overwhelming. Can you help me for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
And so many people would be willing to do that. We're all out there and we all live in that real world. Just tap me on the shoulder, mate. I'm here for you.
Yeah. No, awesome, Shane. Shane, I really appreciate your time. Sincerely. Thank you so much for your time. Shane from the Bond Aid Project.
Cheers, brother. Thank you very much.
We're childhood friends. We grew up, we first met when we were teenagers. We didn't get along too well when we first met, but we certainly kicked it off after that. And I love you, mate. Honestly, you're an absolute legend, mate.
I love you, brother. What you do is awesome. Keep it up.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, legend. Thanks a lot, mate.
Will do, brother. Thanks for your time, Dan.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Cheers, brother. Bye.